Good morning, everybody. I'm a few minutes late. We were just having I was having fun with my computer. Anyhow, welcome everybody to Sunday morning meditation at Vajrayana Institute. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Venerable Dekyi, and I've been involved with the FPMT, of which Vajrayana is only one of many centres around the world, for about 23 years. So we're going to do some meditation this morning, some breathing meditation and some analytical meditation. So it's really, really important that when we meditate, our bodies are not tense. So before we actually move into the meditation, we're going to just do a little bit of a body scan so that we can get rid of any areas of tension in our body. So sit up straight. It's really important that your spine is straight. But when I say sit up straight, we don't want to be little tin soldiers and hold ourselves very tense. That is not helpful at all. But it is important that the spine is straight. So that whether that's the same, whether you're sitting on a chair, whether you're sitting on a cushion, and particularly when you're lying down, then obviously your spine has to be straight. And lying in the supine position on your back is also a very acceptable way of meditating. Just have a cushion under your head, and if you have pain in the lower back or discomfort in the lower back in that position, just put a pillow under your knees, and that will help to ease that lower back discomfort. So let's start at the top of the head. Bring your attention to the top of the head and be aware of any sensations there. And as we do the scan, remember to breathe normally and naturally. And on the out breath, that's when we, in particular, pay attention to releasing any tension that we find. So if you do notice tension in the body, as you breathe out, imagine that that tension just leaves the body with the breath and disappears into space. So moving down to the forehead, having a sense of spaciousness, relaxation, letting go. We hold a lot of tension in the face, so move down to the eyes, all those little muscles around the eyes. Just relaxing, releasing, and relaxing the eyes themselves. Moving down over the cheekbones to the mouth, releasing any tension there around the mouth, the chin. Relax the jaws. Move gently to the top of the head again and down the back of the head to the base of the skull. Moving from there to the shoulders. You may want to raise your shoulders and gently drop them down a few times. Actually just releasing them, letting go, not trying to let them go down slowly, but picking them up, letting them go. Then move down the spine to the base of the spine. Focus your attention on your shoulder blades and relax. A very effective way to make sure you're not clenching your jaw if you're concentrating is to have the mouth just slightly open, tongue resting behind the top teeth. Then moving from the tops of the shoulders down to the elbows. From the elbows down to the wrists. Wrists to the hands. And in meditation posture, you can have your hands one on top of the other in your lap, with the thumbs lightly touching, like this. Or you can rest your palms down on your knees. Your hands palm down on your knees, whatever is comfortable. So now moving to the chest. Again, having a sense of openness, spaciousness. The diaphragm. And the belly. Whole pelvic area. Now coming to the hips. Moving down thighs, knees, ankles, feet, and toes. And again, just doing another gentle scan of the body in case you missed any areas of tension. Top of the head, the face, back of the head, base of the skull, shoulders, arms, hands, back, front of the body, chest, diaphragm, belly, pelvic area, hips, knees, ankles, and feet. So now, as we move into the breathing meditation, that the breath is not a problem. It's normal for us to, the breath is not a problem, sorry. The thoughts are not a problem. So when we do breathing meditation, our only task is to have the awareness and the breath as much as possible together. So every time the mind wanders, we gently but firmly bring the awareness back to the breath. That's our only task when we're doing breathing meditation. So just a few points for people who are new to meditation. Some people think that when you're meditating, you're not allowed to move or you'll be struck by lightning. Certainly, you're allowed to move. And as most of you are probably at home now, you don't disturb other people by moving. But when you're in a group, it's important to move gently and quietly so that you don't disturb others. So you're allowed to move if you're in a lot of pain or you're uncomfortable, but try not to scratch your nose. Well, we shouldn't be touching our noses now, should we? But if you have an itch, or just ignore it. You don't have to attend to it now, and bring the awareness back to the breath. So I have a little timer here that we're going to use. And how wonderful it is to be able to just take time to be present with the breath, not worrying about the future, not caught up in the past, just being here now. So bring your awareness to the breath. So normally with breathing meditation, we focus on the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Our mind is quite agitated, instead to focus on the rise and the fall of the abdomen. So to do this, you might want to place your hands over your abdomen and take a few deep breaths so you can see what the focus point is here. And then bring the rise and the fall of the abdomen. This can be quite grounding. And some people like to count the breaths. This is another technique to help us to stay focused. So in this case, we can count in and out 2. In and out 3. Going up, counting your breaths, and you only get up to 4 and your mind wanders. Don't be upset, relax, back to the breath and start again. If you get up to 10, simply start again at 1. Some people don't find counting useful, so try it out, and if it helps, use this technique. It's very important that you don't get upset with yourself if your mind wanders. Thoughts are going to come, but the important thing is not to follow them and not to try to push them away. Simply notice that they're there and come back to the breath. Just bring the awareness back to the breath. An example is thinking of the breath as a horse and the awareness as the rider. I think the horse and rider analogy is quite useful because, as any of you who have done some horse riding will know, that we need to be relaxed. And at the same time, we need to be alert. So here we're having a relaxed body and an alert mind. So we're merging the awareness with the breath. So when we have a still, relaxed body that calms our mind, and our mind can be aware and focused only on the breath. So, of course, I can't see you, but the live chat is up. So if anybody has any questions about the meditation, just pause here for a little while so you can type them in if you want to. So, like discipline, I think we really need to take on board the fact that whether we're starting a diet or whether we're wanting to get fit or Oh, okay. Sorry, I've just seen a question coming up. There's a bit of a, there's a gap here. So, Monique, is it okay to move your attention from your nostrils to your abdomen during the practice? I think it's normally recommended that whatever you choose for the focus, you stay with that for the whole of that particular session. I mean, if you were not aware of the focus on the abdomen and you started with the nostrils, then you know, if you very quickly move to the abdomen, I think that's fine. But just then stay with the abdomen. So it's good to decide before you start where you're going to have your focus. I'm not sure of the time lapse between, you coming on the live chat and it appearing here. I'm not sure how well it's tuned in. But and if you've got if the sound is not good, please let me know, because it's not like having you all here in the little gompa and people can then say to me, oh, I can't hear you, or so please let me know, give me some feedback if there's any problems. Oh, good. So the sound is good. Okie dokie. So there's two types of meditation, basically. So what we did now is single-pointed concentration, and then the other type of meditation is called analytical meditation. And as the name implies, it's more where we are investigating certain things like, the faults of attachment or anger or jealousy. Or we are training our minds to be more compassionate, more kind, more caring, more open. So when we do these analytical meditations, we always begin with a little bit of breathing meditation to make sure that we are focused. We're not, there's no guarantee, because like anything, breathing meditation takes practice. And as we get more and more familiar with the technique, it becomes easier and easier. And after a while, the mind really enjoys it because it actually gets a break. And that's important. Our minds are very, very busy. And when we begin breathing meditation, we certainly become very aware of that. And in fact, some people think, oh, my mind was never this bad. Well, our mind's always been pretty crazy, but we haven't been aware of it. So once we're aware of it, then we can work with it. So with the analytical meditation, as I said, we're going to do a bit of a meditation on the two domains of reality. But before we begin, let's just again settle our body and bring our awareness to the breath. And from this state of calmness, let's set a really positive motivation for being here together. Let's open our hearts and think, whatever benefit I get from this meditation, may it be not only for myself, but for everybody else on the planet, particularly at this really difficult time where there's a lot of fear and a lot of suffering. So let's open our hearts and begin the meditation. So there is the domain of conventional reality, in which I am me and you are you, where the object you hold in your hands is a book or whatever, and all objects have names and defined relationships. Then there is a somewhat mysterious domain of ultimate reality, the quantum soup, the implicate order, the domain of space, time, and energy that is completely empty of isolated entities, and that is the wholeness of all fields and continuums of interrelated energy and life. Bringing an awareness of these two realities into our meditation practice and into our daily lives can help us in so many ways, large and small. And life can help us to maintain a dual perspective that embraces both a cosmic view and one that is fully grounded in our present ordinary reality. There is the dual nature of self, the incomplete self and the complete self. As humans, we are seeing from the perspective of the incomplete self. This incomplete self is undoubtedly very important. But if we attach to this incomplete self, although this incomplete self is important, then we'll never be able to experience the complete self. In Zen, people say, if you believe in God, this complete self means the same thing as God. Many disciplines of meditation function to refine and mature consciousness to such a degree that we come to two very profound discoveries regarding the nature of ourself. The first is the discovery that our ordinary identity is only relatively real. The second is that there are dimensions of ourselves that are universal in nature, and as such they extend beyond our body and beyond the duration of the life of this body. The relationship between the relative and universal dimensions of ourselves is often described as being similar to the relationship between a particle, which has a relative form and location, and a field, which is non-localized and infinite in extension. So let's do this little meditation called Buddhaverse. Sit comfortably and smile gently like a Buddha. Resting easily and naturally in the flow of your breathing. To bring your attention to your heart center and sense that there is a small radiant Buddha of light sitting on a lotus in the center of your heart. So if you're not a Buddhist, you can visualize Jesus or Mary, or simply, if you're not religious at all, just a sphere of light. You may see the image clearly, or just sense its potentiality there as a sphere of radiance within your heart. So think of this as the essence of perfect loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. When it feels natural, allow this radiant Buddha and its sphere of light to grow larger and larger until it becomes exactly the same size as your body. Feel yourself completely lighted up from within, suffused with this radiant, enlightening energy. Then when you are ready, allow this radiant Buddha that is now the size of your body to continue to expand and to grow larger and larger until you sense your body sitting like a little radiant Buddha in the heart of a much larger Buddha. Then envision that this larger Buddha actually sits at the center of the heart of an even larger Buddha, who in turn sits at the heart of an even larger Buddha, who in turn sits within the heart of an endless cascade of radiant Buddha bodies, extending to the farthest reaches of the universe and infinitely beyond. In a similar way, as you again envision a radiant Buddha in a sphere of light at your heart center, you may discover that sitting within in its heart is, yes, another radiant Buddha. And within its heart is a radiant Buddha, who in turn sits within the heart of an endless fractilian cascade of radiant Buddhas, opening into the most minute particles and wavelengths of imagination and extending infinitesimally within. Sitting poised within and between these infinite expanses, envision now that all of these radiant Buddhas can telescope into each other, bringing all into one, or expanding one into all. In the same way, envision that all beings, knowingly or unknowingly, at some essential dimension of their being, truly abide in this multi-dimensional universe. In this way, when you light up a moment of mindfulness in your own mind, imagine that it resonates within and lights up that potential in the minds of all beings. So bring to mind that every single one of us has this innate purity, which in Buddhism we refer to as our Buddha nature. At the very core of our being is an inexhaustible source of loving kindness and wisdom and compassion. This is the same for us and everybody else. So this innate purity is like a diamond. And our delusions, our fear, our anger, our jealousy, our pride, these are all adventitious and they can be removed. I think this is one of the most, if not the most important message of Buddhism. Our essential purity and the essential purity of all living beings. So connect with your own essential purity and understand how much we are interconnected with others who also possess this essential purity. And remember to be kind. When people are controlled by fear, they're not acting out of their essential purity. They've lost sight of it, or they're not aware of it. So do your best not to add to the problems in the world by staying calm and kind and caring. Stay connected with your innate purity. Your kindness and your compassion. So let's finish by dedicating the positive energy that we've generated. Let's dedicate it to everybody on the planet. That they may be free of worry and fear and despair. That we may all support one another in whatever ways we can. And wish all beings everywhere peace of mind, health and well-being. So thank you. If you look at our program, you will see what we have online. And I would say hope to see you soon, but I can't see you. If we move over to Zoom, I may be able to see you all. But I'm holding everybody in my heart. Stay well, stay safe, stay home whenever you can. All the best.